Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Building a Nation with Team Canada. And today we have for you the beginning of the 2025 campaign. Now, in this video, I'm going to roll a couple of our normal videos into one. We're going to roll sort of the preseason spectacular and the beginning of Champions League all into one. So we'll try to, breeze through this because we got a lot of content to get through and not a lot of time to do it. FM20 is around the corner. It might already be here by the time you see this video. But anyway, we got to start doing this soon. We got to start shortening these seasons that we have. So let's get straight into it. We did have a youth intake for Vancouver. I don't know why I'm starting with the youth intake, but we're going to start here anyway, just for now. It was an interesting youth intake, that's for sure. It says it was a great youth intake. Compared to our last couple, it's pretty good, but for the most part, it's not honestly that great. Our best player is Mike Merriman-Zanata, right winger. Lots of determination, decent technicals, technique, heading, crossing. He's a 6'3" winger, so that's interesting. 15 years old, but for the most part, he's not going to be that useful. And most of these guys aren't going to be that useful because we're probably going to end this series before they have much to do. Landon Poole, 15-year-old, defensive midfielder, 14 tackling, looking pretty good. And let's see who's the next best. Probably this guy, Carlo Norman, central defender. Pretty decent. Teamwork. He's got some marking, some tackling, some heading. He's okay. But we don't need to spend too much time on these guys because for the most part, their impact is going to be negligible. Let's skip the rest of that for a minute because I actually want to go back to the national team. And we actually have some competitions this year as opposed to last year. We're going to be playing in the Confederations Cup. Again, Group B is what we're in. I don't know that we know exactly who's in there or yet to play. Yes, we do. Okay. So it's an interesting group here. So Brazil, Egypt B, they're not even going to send their A team. New Zealand and USA in Group A. And Group B, Canada, Ecuador, England, and South Korea. Why we're in the group, I don't know. Did Mexico and USA play off for this honor? I don't think they did. Because last time we entered this group, we had to play off against USA to get in. And I don't see any playoff with Mexico. Last year, Nations League, no, they just had friendlies last year, just like us. Confederation Cup playoff 2 years ago, they lost to us. But I don't know why USA is in there, why we're in there. I have no idea why any of these teams are here. But our group, look at that. We got England again, and then we got Ecuador and South Korea. So it's a difficult group, but I think Ecuador and South Korea are beatable teams. We'll see. But yeah, that's going to be our main competition as far as we know so far. There was a Gold Cup draw on the schedule, but I didn't see a Gold Cup draw in my inbox. So we might not have a Gold Cup this year. Confederations Cup might be all that we're up to. That's kind of it right now for Team Canada. Hopefully we get something else later on in the season, but for now, we just have Confederations Cup to deal with. So back to Vancouver we go. And, things are fine. Finances are fine. No problems. $34 million in the bank. It's sort of hovered there for eternity. We've been hovering around the $30 million mark. It's fine. No need for any of that. The board, we're secure. So it's interesting. We dropped down to 60%, but that's still pretty good for the start of the year. But the board has some expectations this year that we're going to have to live up to. So we'll see. Club-wise, we haven't done much. We're still state-of-the-art in terms of training facilities, great youth facilities, secure finances. Everything else is super fine. No problems at all. Transfers, it's been a weird sort of non-event this year in transfers. We drafted 4 players in the super draft and then cut them all because they were terrible. So we just said no need for them. I thought, we had a bunch of second-round draft picks. There were a bunch of Canadian players, but we didn't scout them very well. So I just drafted them sort of sight unseen, and most of them were just not up to par. We just couldn't do anything with them. Jason DeSantis perhaps was an okay player, but we had other guys on the roster we needed, so we might as well cut him. Same with Mirabelli. Interesting player, striker, but no potential. 1.5-star player with no potential at all. Get out. We don't need you. We re-signed Zachary Brault-Guillard because we needed another right back. He's sort of a dude. He's fine. We can live with him. We waived several players. Godinho, Politi, Adam Melvin. I thought that maybe he would get picked up by somebody. He hasn't. We had several young goalkeepers and we couldn't keep them all, and his potential went down significantly, down to 2.5 stars. So I just let him go. I thought maybe he'd get picked up by now, but he hasn't, so we'll see. Stokic is the lone guy that we let go who got picked up. Another defensive midfielder, 19 years old. Again, his potential dropped significantly, so we let him go. Columbus picked him up. So good for him. He's got a job. Then we sent a couple guys out on loan. We sent Matthew Jausa to Pacific on a free. Again, another guy we just didn't necessarily need. His potential wasn't good enough to warrant a roster spot. So get out. We're being cutthroat in the year of 2025. So really not a lot happened in the offseason. We just sort of signed our guys, re-signed a lot of guys, and then cut a bunch of dead weight or guys who just they didn't match up to their potential. And that's about it. That's about all that happened in the offseason. Now, we did play a bunch of games, and we've been, crushing most people. We've been playing very good. We went a little tour of Mexico, played a bunch of second division Mexican teams, beat them all pretty well. Cancun was the best against us with a 1-0. But maybe you could also say Inter played well against us, 2-1. Diego Hendricks with a pair. Oh, yeah. That might be something that was interesting in terms of transfer. Sort of our one, I think, interesting transfer. I forgot to look at trades, right? Trades, yes. Trades. Indeed. So, let's see. Where did it go? Hello? Where is he? We did trade Frazier away. No, not Frazier. Hendricks. There he is. We traded Hendricks to Montreal. 2 second-round picks and $4.2 million in allocation money. Basically, we had a bit of a glut up top at striker. So Montreal came in with a pretty decent package. I mean, $4.2 million and 2 second-round picks is pretty good for Diego Hendricks, even though he had started to become one of our better players. But now, since he's gone to Montreal, his ability and potential dropped. A half star. So he was up to 3.5 stars in both of these, pushing 4 stars. And now he's dropped again. So our scouts think less of him just because he's at Montreal, I guess. I don't know. But we needed room. We needed somebody else. Well, we didn't need somebody else. We needed less players at that position. So we got rid of him. It's fine. He's still going to get playing time at Montreal. And everything will be good there. So, preseason schedule has been good. We just finished a 6-1 destruction of Columbus. And our team's looking pretty good. Looking pretty strong. This wasn't even our strongest team we put out there. This is a lot of second-team guys out there. And Columbus just, I don't know, they just fell apart completely. Shamit Shom gets a hat trick. 3 goals. Wesley Timoteo, Bob Thompson, even Nerwinski. Playing a lot of left back this year. Nerwinski got in there and got a goal in the 37th minute. So, complete and utter destruction there. And speaking of our team and how well we're doing, we got some expectations this year and we got a lot of competitions. So, Major League Soccer, Western Conference, the board wants us to reach the semifinals. So, no more of this just reach the playoff stuff. They want us to be in the semifinals. Supporter Shield, top half. So no more of this just, be competitive stuff. Now, the World Club Championship, they just wanted us to be competitive. In case you missed it, we were knocked out in the third place playoff game by the Kaiser Chiefs, a team I think we should have beat, but we just had a bad game. Champions League, they want us to reach the quarterfinals, which means we're going to have to beat Alajuelense. And then Canadian Championship, they want us to reach the finals, which, of course, our goal is always to win the Canadian Championship so we can continue to play in Champions League. All right. So speaking of Champions League, that's what we've got going on today. Alajuelense. So we're going to do 2 quick games versus them. Hopefully we're going to beat them up and not have to worry about much. So let's see what else is going. I mean, I guess I could have just, instead of going back like that, I could have just done this, clicked on that. First round. So we got Houston versus Pachuca. That should be an interesting matchup. Houston was a very good team last year. They could be a good team this year. I don't know. I haven't really looked much at MLS this year, so we'll use this as sort of a barometer to see how good Houston really is, because that's a tough draw in the first round. Seattle gets Aguila. I guess that's another tough draw, isn't it? No, maybe not. Maybe not so tough. El Salvador. Okay. So that should be a good win there for Seattle. Interesting that Seattle is in there. LAFC gets Waterhouse. That's a team I've not seen before. Who's Waterhouse from? Jamaican National Premier League. Look at that. Team from Jamaica makes it in there. They're not often in the Champions League, so that's interesting. Cruz Azul gets Police United from Belize. America gets Arribe Unido. Who are they? Oh boy. They don't really have a lot of what you might call ball players. They are Panama. Okay. So we're getting some very interesting teams in Champions League this year. Orlando City gets Olympia, and then Municipal versus Toluca. So, biggest matchup is Houston versus Pachuca. That's pretty huge. So we'll see who gets the upper hand there. So we'll get to our match preview. It seems like we play Alajuelense every year, so it might be nice if we got somebody else, but we know what they're all about. We know that we can beat them pretty handily, although they are 6-4 favorites at home. That's interesting. And we don't have any previous meetings. Why are there no previous meetings? I feel like we played this team before. Haven't we? Maybe not. Interesting. Maybe we just seen them so many times in the competition that we just, by osmosis, think that we played them. Anyway, we're playing at Alejandro Morera Soto Stadium. 12,100 tickets sold out of 17,000, so not quite a sellout, but a pretty good crowd. 91 degrees, so it's a little warm out. Bright and sunny. They don't have a coach. Do they have any players? They do have some players. Anybody worth value? They do have couple of pretty good-looking players. Randy Zamora, right winger, valued at $750K. 22 years old. He looks like a decent prospect. This guy was available in the Super Draft. I'd pick him up. Brian Rojas, striker. He can play all over the attack. He's also pretty good. I've seen players like this in MLS, definitely. So yeah, they've got a few decent players, but it's a team we should beat, especially with our team selection we're going with today. So we're going with the reverse Z. We're going possession style. There wasn't really much of a team report on these guys, so I don't really know what's going to work or not work against them, but this is what we're going to go with. Possession style, see if we can just dominate the game at their house, and yeah, let's go. Should be a pretty familiar starting lineup if you've seen many of our games in the past. Couple of switches around here and there. Zlatkovic is a little bit injured, so we've got, of course, McGee in goal. Ahmed is on the left. Thomas is on the right. Jaguar and Dunn in central defense. Marples and Daniels. Stankovic on the left. Colin, Faria on the right, and Hundle up top. So a lot of familiar names there. Looks like they're going with the Stargate formation. They're dialing Earth up here. The 3 stars and the pyramid. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Hilliard Arce is in there. 2 appearances, good rating. Casante, 33 appearances, only 4 assists, so not a lot of production there. But defensive midfielder, maybe he's good at good at defending, I should say. Rojas seems to be the guy to stop. Brian Rojas, highest average rating, top goal scorer, and most assists. 21 goals, 8 assists, 7.39 rating. So we'll have to pay special attention to Rojas. Okay. First leg win will do us good. Go out there and do the business. Nope, nobody wants to do that. Okay, close down. Close down. It's an interesting formation. It's hard to, like, decide exactly who to close down on. We will press Rojas. Try to get the ball out of his hands. We'll just press everybody. How about that? How you like them apples? You've left Wesley Timoteo out. Is that due to his recent injury problem? Yes. In other circumstances, we might have risked him. Luke McGee takes the captain's armband. Yes. Oh, and McGee is like 10 days away from Canadian citizenship. Or, you know, being eligible for the Canadian national team. So they had better give us the option to make him our goalkeeper, because basically our whole World Cup depends on that. Depends on getting Luke McGee as a Canadian citizen. By far, he would be the best goalkeeper in the nation, without a doubt. That's why he's been on the team this whole time. That's why we haven't gone with any other goalkeepers. Now, if he doesn't, then we do have a couple of younger backup plans. There's Marples with a goal right off the start. Make sure that we are key highlights. If McGee, you know, that thing where some of our players in the past have just decided not to be eligible for Team Canada, if that continues, then we got a couple of young goalkeepers that we're going to throw in there as backups. Well, not as backups. They're going to be our starters, but they're plan B for sure. But if McGee doesn't agree to be a Canadian, like, real quick, he's going to be out, unfortunately, because he's by far our best goalkeeper. Yeah. Maybe we could trade him to another Canadian team, and that might help, but I don't know. All right, here's Thomas to Colin. Faria in the box. Marple sends it in. Nope. I mean, we're just playing around on their side of the field here. Dominating possession. They've dropped 9 guys back into the box. Parking the bus. They got 0 shots. 44% possession. So they are, you know, even though they're in a 4-2-3-1, they're sort of dropping back. Because it's, oh, that's right, it's the double defensive midfielder thing. It looks like a regular 4-2-3-1. It's funny when you look at it, because this little squished box doesn't give you enough space to sort of represent anything. Here, Stankovic sends one in. Faria with the header. Smith makes the save. Good job. Good man. He's going to have to make a lot of saves. Uh-oh, are we gonna get a mega highlight here? Is Alajuelense going to hit us on the counterattack? Loria to Rojas, the guy we got to watch out for. He sends a great pass back post to Zamora. Defense is there. Doesn't matter. He scores. And suddenly Alajuelense makes it interesting. Maybe this isn't the cakewalk that we thought it was going to be. The bettors might, the bookies might know something here, making them the favorites. You'd think the money would have been on us in that case. Like the team that had been steamrolling people, the MLS team. We go in and we're not favored. You'd think that anybody who bets on this sort of thing, which I don't know who would bet on North American Champions League. There's got to be somebody. You'd think they'd take that bet for sure. All right. Here's another highlight. Alajuelense. No. Faria gets the big steal at midfield. Let's go. He's going to just take it. And then he gets the favor returned with a big tackle. Okay. Mega highlight time. Mega highlight. Loria. He likes to dribble. Drops it off to Rojas. Can Rojas make another play? I mean, we're supposed to be marking that guy pretty tightly, and he went straight through our defense last time. Zamora, the goal scorer. Let's please. Oh, another great pass. Wow. These guys are on fire right now with these passes. All right, here we go. Let's be superior. Daniels sends it back post. Jaguar with the header off the post. Okay. There ends the highlight. So we are superior in the set pieces. Got 57% of possession, 12 shots, 6 on target. I mean, you can't really ask for much more than that. We just need some more of these to go in to the goal. That would be lovely. So yeah, we're gonna, if worst comes to worst, Eric has been getting a lot better these days. 13 reflexes is passable. It's halftime. Dressing room. I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Unlucky boys. Things just haven't gone right for us. Let's go. Start the second half. Maybe we could go to attack mode, but do we need to do that? I don't know. We got an away goal. Should be pretty good. But if the game is this close, then that means we can't really play all of our youngsters, which is what I would have preferred to do in the second game. Or maybe we still do. Maybe we take a chance. Play the youngsters and see what happens. Let them try to win it at home. I mean, that's what these games are for, right? They're to let those kind of players play. Yeah, boy. All right, so they're starting to improve a little bit. They got 3 shots, 2 on target, 45% possession. Here we go. Throw in. Near side. Ahmed. Easy toss to Daniels. Centers to Marples. Can he get his second? He does. Easy. The 18-year-old now. He's got a year's worth of experience, and he's putting it to good use here. I don't know that Marples is a national team level player, but he just seems so good. I wish he had more potential. Maybe his potential will go up. But it's just so hard to look at this kid and see that he's 19 years old now, and see that is he really only a 2-star player with 2-star potential? He just seems better than that. Maybe because he's got so much green. I don't know. But right now, we don't really have many options at defensive midfielder anyway, so, we're going to play him as much as we can. Maybe we'll have to start getting more time for some other midfielders. I don't know. I mean, he plays well. You see, he's got 2 goals, 14 tackling, vision. His passing could be better, but All right, here we go. 81 minutes. Please don't let them tie it up. That would be terrible. There we go. There's a good steal. Stankovic. What you going to do with it, my dude? Okay. Should be just keeping possession here. That's fine. Faria, lots of space on the far side. Can he get it forward? No, he drops it back to Stankovic. Hundle way offside. Please get onside. Faria. Oh, off the post. That should have been a goal. Daniels with a free kick. Sends it in. There's Hundle. And he scores. There we go. Get off the season right. Hundle with his first goal of the season. Assist by Daniels. I think Daniels was a former TFC guy as well. We got lots of former TFC players on our squad. Okay, so I think they've made some substitutes. They have indeed. Moved Loria down to right back. That's an interesting move. So you will no longer press him intensely. They haven't done much that's gonna threaten us, honestly. So we'll do that. As for our team, everybody's playing pretty well. Faria's the only guy. Well, Faria and Stankovic are the only guys below 7, and they're not much below 7. Daniels is a little tired out there, but there's only 3 minutes of stoppage time. He's fine. Marples with 2 goals. Daniels with 2 assists. There's Dunn going to pick that one up easy. McGee boots it. Colin heads it down. That's going to end the game right there. So 3-1. I mean, we dominated on the field, but not necessarily on the scoreboard. I mean, 3-1 is okay, but I was hoping for a little bit more. Let's get to the dressing room. Marples, of course, player of the match. Okay, good win, boys. Well done. Hand over to the assistant. Pep talk. Okay, so we're going to pause it here. We got a friendly in between the next with our affiliate, Phoenix Rising. We haven't sent them any players this year. I don't think we're going to have many players out on loan this year at all. We've really shortened the squad just to players who I think will be valuable. So, we're going to pause it here, get back with the second leg. Okay, we are back for the second leg. First round, Champions League. Alajuelense, we beat them 3-1 on the road. Couple of other, interesting results. Pachuca and Houston 1-1. That's what we expected. Should be a barn burner of a final game. Cruz Azul 4-0 over Police United. Take a look at the rest of the stage. Seattle 1-1 with Aguila. That's a bit of a surprise there. LAFC trounces Waterhouse. Cruz Azul, we saw that. America, team we're getting overly familiar with these days. They're in the competition. They beat Aribe United 5-0. Orlando only 2-1 over Olympia. And Toluca 4-0 over Municipal, which is to be expected. All right. Second leg, we're the favorites now. Too early to tell. Okay. Not a great day. 41. It's interesting, though. We got 26,000, so that's a pretty good crowd. But what's interesting is in the email, it said that our stadium was a 28,000 capacity stadium, not 54,000. So I think that 28,000 is when they sort of rope off the top section of the dome, and that makes more sense. I wish they would show that. I wish we had a 28,000 seat stadium instead of the 54,000. Anyway, I don't know how many times I rail against that, but it's probably every single time. But anyway, I don't care. It's 41 degrees and gusty and rainy, so it's not a great day for football. Let's go. Let's go. So we got a rotated side out there. A lot of interesting names in, especially in defense. But we are going with our Z formation possession style. We'll see how that works for us. All right. Here we go. So they are changing things up a little bit. They're reversing their pyramid here in the middle, going with the 4-1-2-3 instead of the 4-2-1-3. Interesting. Other than that, looks pretty much the same. Brenes, this is perhaps a new guy. 3 assists, 35. Randy Zamora, I think they had him last time, 5 assists. Yeah. Rojas definitely up top. Yeah, their leading dude. Anyway, we've got a lot of interesting guys in here. We got Eric in goal. It's going to be his first game of the year. Colin, one of the many, many Collins. Dylan Collin on the left. Normally a central defender, but he can play left back. Rosalind making his debut, another one of our youngsters. Jonas Hakkinen the second coming in there. And then they're being joined by the one veteran, Brogiard, on the right. So it's a very, very young defense. Frazier and Daniels in the midfield. DeMello, Collin, Faria, and Thompson up top. DeMello was one of our draft picks a couple of years ago. He's managed to stick with the team. He's a decent left winger, and he's having a very fine preseason, even though he's making his competitive debut today. He's had some pretty good matches in some of our friendlies, so we're going to give him a run out today. And then, of course, old Bob Thompson up top. Let's go. It's a very inexperienced squad, but that's what we're here for. Let's see. Go straight on where you finished off from the last match. That's a little bit more positive. That's fine. Opposition instructions. You know. Don't really have much to do here, so we'll just go straight to the tunnel talk. You've chosen to leave Julian Dunn. It's a long season. Rotation is necessary. Get out of here. You sprung a few surprises. Yes, some players will play here. Others will play in other matches at elsewheres. All right, here we go. In the dome. We are in the all whites today. It's a pretty classic uniform. I don't mind the all whites. You know, a couple of stripes here and there. I'm glad that MLS teams don't have quite as much marketing on the front of their jerseys as some other teams do. But still, it's disconcerting when you're used to other sports. When you see these teams with, there's Faria with a great pass to DeMello, and there's the guy we were just talking about. You know, honestly, Vancouver, I guess their jerseys do say Bell on the front, so I guess I shouldn't talk. But anyway, when you talk about other sports, like, they don't have that. They don't have that advertising. They might have one little small patch. There's DeMello. Great cross from Faria. But for the most part, it's advertising free, and I definitely prefer that. Here's DeMello sending one in. Hakkinen can't get ahead on it. Hakkinen the second. Colin, though, recovers. He sends it back. Can't get it to Faria. Frazier. He's got Thompson out wide. Thompson's going to send it back in. Okay. Let's reform some sort of coherent formation here, boys. Colin, Frazier, Daniels. Out wide. Faria. Again, they're leaving him wide open. They probably shouldn't do this because of that. He's a pretty good player on the right. Probably our best player currently in the game, I would think. Take a look at this lineup. Yeah. Compared to all these other guys, I would say Faria is our best player. 3-star player, 4-star potential. Getting better, 24 years old. 7 caps with the national team, valued at $3.7 million. He's okay. Good crossing. I mean, for our team, he's got very good crossing. Uh-oh, here we go. New highlight. Colin with a yellow card already. Gets it to the other Colin. It's the Colin to Colin connection. It's probably not good when everybody's got yellow boots on. Why do we have so many guys with yellow boots? I don't know. There's Frazier. Yellow boots equals yellow cards. Here's Faria. Diving inside again. They're just not stopping him. Maybe we should send Broguillard on the attack. You know, Faria's just going to dive inside. Dylan Collins booked. Yeah, definitely ease off tackles, my dude. There's a big header from Hakkinen. Gets his first goal of the season. Perhaps his first goal ever with Vancouver. Very happy about that. DeMello, again. You know, that's another reason to keep DeMello around, is he's got some special teams ability. Something maybe I don't think about enough. You know, with all the penalties and shootouts and stuff we get in, I should probably think about special teams more. Colin to Broguillard. Why is Broguillard on the left? I don't know. But anyway, I guess we'll figure out. Daniels gets it out to Faria on the right. Sends it across to DeMello wide open, but misses the header. So they're just leaving our wingers wide open for whatever reason. All right, Cascante to Zamora out wide. Looks like Alajuelense might get their first highlight. Rojas, was he offside? He looked offside, but I don't know. Didn't really see that play from the start. Here we go, wide angle. He was offside for a minute. He's he's kept onside by Bro. Bro, what you doing, my man? Keeping people onside like that. That gets Alajuelense a little bit closer to respectability. It's still 5-2 aggregate, so not a lot to worry about. Just got finished watching a Premier League game, West Ham and Man United. A little upset there by West Ham, but I hear Man United's not playing well, so maybe it's not that big of an upset. Daniels drops it to DeMello. He takes a shot and scores again. That wasn't a great shot, but it went in. That's all that counts. Not great goalkeeping, but this is what is to be expected at this stage of the competition. Daniels, DeMello, just, a little touch and a little shot is fine. Well placed. We'll call it that. We'll call it a well-placed shot. Okay, so Colin, he's okay. He's nothing to write home about, but he might be useful in a couple of years. Rosalind, a little more useful. He can play defensive midfielder. He's got a little bit more potential. Maybe he should be playing defensive midfielder, honestly. Let's get to the halftime dressing room. Everything is fine. We don't even need to talk to these guys. Get out. Get out. Too busy looking at the other players that we don't even need to talk to them. We're just looking at their attributes. Then Hakkinen, 2 stars. Again, a guy who could be useful in a couple of years. He's got the attributes where it counts. Oh, here we go. Solano throw in for Alajuelense on our side of the field. Zamora gets it, looking for a centering pass. Nope. He does eventually center it to Brenes. Marin out wide. Coming forward, they send it across. Colin is there on the backside. Okay, well defended here. They're looking for a crack in our defense. They can't find it just yet. Keeping possession, though. It's new for them. We outpossessed them by quite a bit in the first leg. Now looks like they've got to be a little bit more aggressive here. Zamora to Rojas. The one guy we got to watch. Passes it to Alvarado, and he scores. First goal of the season for Luis Alvarado. Dope. I mean, I'm pretty sure he was onside, but we'll take a look real quick. Yeah. We'll skip the rest of that. Okay, 3-2. They're trying to make a game of it. Still down 6-3 aggregate. Let's see. Is anybody playing particularly bad? Sean Collin up top is playing kind of poorly, so we can make a sub there. We've got Shamit Shom on the bench. Drop him back down to support. Anybody else? I mean, we could get that yellow card out of there from young Mr. Collin. And there we go. Nervinsky. Let's get in there. No need to go down to 10 men. Let's put it that way. Can we give the boys a shout? Can we get a shout that's just like, don't be complacent? I don't know. Demand more. Let's demand more. See what that does. Okay. Pressured. Complacent. Rojas sends one in and he scores. Evens it up. 3-3. Not looking so hot here. Suddenly they're making a game out of this. 6-4. They've made a couple of subs here. Let's make sure we mark these fellas. Let's see. Okay, we don't need to tightly mark these guys. So they moved some players around, it looks like. Put some guys down in the midfield and then brought in Alvarado up top. And they brought in a new fullback, Barry. Okay. Done a lot of switching around, trying to mess with our defense. Okay, they're only down by 2 goals here, boys. Let's not then let them make it any more interesting. Let's see. Team instructions. Let's waste time. Let's work the ball in the box. Rojas is making things happen. Yeah, we'll close him down. Here we go. Shamit's shown with a corner. Sends it across. Hakkinen back post. He got a head on it, but he was like too close at too weird of an angle. Couldn't quite get that one on goal. We got Chelsea and Liverpool coming up next. That should be an interesting game. All right, here we go. 91 minutes, 1 minute of stoppage time. Can they make it look incredibly respectable? I mean, they've already made it look respectable. 6-4, that's very respectable. You know, previously we'd blown teams like this out. You know, 6, 7, 8-0. You know, aggregate. So they've done a fairly good job, but not good enough. We've managed to squeak by. I mean, we played a lot of guys who probably shouldn't be in there in this second leg and allowed them to come back. But for the most part, I'm happy with it. We're fine. We got a lot of these youngsters in the game. I wish Eric hadn't given up 3 goals, but I don't think many of those were necessarily his fault. All right, here we go. This should be the final highlight. Thompson getting forward. Can he get a shot on target? He scores. How about that? There we go. We'll make it look better than it actually finished. I mean, we were never in doubt of losing this series, really. But they did make it competitive. I mean, it was 1-1 for a little while there in the first leg, and now it's, you know, it was 3-3 for a long time here. So they were competitive. We got to give them that for sure. But I don't think we were ever really in danger of losing. It's the kind of competitive that you want. It's like they gave us a game, but we were in command the whole way. Never a bit of nervousness. So we're going to move on. And then we're going to have to get serious right away because we're probably going to play America or somebody like that. I didn't really look at the playoff tree here. We'll do that momentarily. All right, hand over and continue. I don't know that the playoff tree is that accurate at this point. Okay, Cruz Azul crushes Police 11-0. Pachuca comes out and dominates Houston 4-0 in the second leg. Wow. Wow, that was pretty crazy. Okay. So competition review. No, we can't do that. All right, competitions. Click here. Come on. Get with the program. We're in the Champions League. Okay, stages. Look at the playoff tree here. So, yeah, they're going to move everything around. I think after the quarterfinals, they're going to reseed and put everybody wherever they want to. So this playoff tree doesn't do much for us. All right, so we'll find out. Oh, there we go. We get to play Pachuca. Fun. 8th in the Mexican First Division. They got a lot of loanees and loaners. Look at all the blue on this roster. Like, they need to change the color or something. Like, light blue is loan in and dark blue is loan out. It's not that easy to look at. Imagine if you're like, don't have the greatest color vision, you know, somewhat colorblind. How would you even tell? How would you even know? Anyway, their starting lineup looks pretty good. Lots of guys in the mid to late millions here. Whatever that means. 8 million, 9 million is what I was trying to say. Anyway, They're a pretty good team, and we'll have to play them next time. So until then, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.